Hey guys, Sarah here. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm going to be sharing my 10 tips for working from home and staying productive. So if you're interested in that, keep watching. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe before you leave so you don't miss any of my future videos. All right, let's get into it. We are obviously currently in a time that tons of you are now working from home and you are not used to that. You're used to working in an office full of people and you have no idea how to be productive and stay focused if you're at home. So today I just wanted to share my tips and tricks. I've been working from home for, I think, 3 years. It may be longer than that. I honestly cannot remember. I'm so bad with dates, so I'm not exactly sure how long, but a long time regardless. And I feel like now I'm so much more productive at home than I ever could imagine being in an office. So I figured I would share my tips that I have come up with along the way. Hopefully they are helpful for you. And yeah, let me know if you have any other tips that I don't mention. I'm sure there are so many out there. These are just the top 10 that I thought of, but obviously I would love to hear from you guys too. So leave a comment below with your best working from home tip. My first tip is to create a routine. So if you work in an office, I'm sure there's certain things you do when you get to work. You know, you go in, turn your computer on, make a cup of coffee, say hi to your coworkers, whatever that is, and then sit down and check your emails or whatever your routine looks like. For me, because my job is different every single day, I kind of have a routine of I wake up, I make my first tumbler of water, I get my first tumbler of water. Once I'm done with this, then I drink my Zip Fizz, which is my caffeine. And while I drink my first tumbler, I usually read the 10 pages of my book that I need to read since I'm doing 75 hard right now. If you're not familiar, I'll link my video up here. Anyway, and then I sit down, I go through my emails, I check my social media, respond to DMs, do all of those things. So that is kind of my morning routine. And then I go into my to-do list. I always create a to-do list for the day just so I know what I'm doing. And then I can start crossing things off my list as I go. If you create a routine, even if it's not exactly the same as what it was when you went to the office, if you create something in your home that you still do the same types of things, you can wake up and feel like you know what to do first, instead of waking up and thinking you have no idea where to even begin. I think that's where a lot of people get lost. And then if you don't know where to begin, your mind starts wandering and you're like, ooh, I could do X, Y, and Z. Tip number 2 is to prioritize your tasks. I think that every single day, like I said, I make a to-do list. I have this notebook and I just have like my weekly to-do list and then I have my daily to-do list. So my weekly to-do lists are like those meatier goals that I want to do, like film certain videos, you know, whatever those things are, the bigger goals that you want to do for the week. And then the daily ones are all of those other littler things. So what I like to do is prioritize my tasks for the day. And then whatever the most important one is, or whatever the one that I'm dreading the most is, I do first. That way I can get it crossed off my list. I don't have to worry about it again. And it's just good to go. I hate responding to emails. I don't know why. It's so easy, but for some reason I just have such a hard time doing it. So I always try to respond to any emails I need to respond to right away first thing in the morning. And then if there are other like important tasks, like usually if I'm filming that day, that's one of the tasks that goes up into my like top important tasks. So I try and get that out of the way as soon as possible. Then I feel accomplished. I can cross off my list and move on. So I definitely recommend prioritizing your tasks so that you don't just start doing like the easy things or the things that you love the most about your job. And then when the day goes on and you're losing motivation, you then have to focus on the things that you didn't want to focus on in the first place. Tip number 3, it kind of goes along with tip number 2, but it is to create a short must-do to-do list. So these are the items that you absolutely have to get done that day. If you go into every single day with a like 15 item to-do list, you're not going to finish it and then you're going to continue feeling like you're failing, which is not motivating. So if you can create your to-do list with, I usually do my top 3 are things that I must get done, and then I have my list of hopefuls. So I can start working off of that list as soon as my top 3 are done. And then anything that I don't finish out of those moves on to the next day and so on. So as long as I'm getting my top 3 done, that is accomplishment for the day, but I still have other things to focus on. I just really like to be able to know that I did my best and not feel like I'm failing, because there's always going to be a long to-do list of things to do. That's just inevitable. Tip number 4 is to take a lot of breaks. I like to set my mind to doing a certain task, and then as soon as I'm done with that, I can get up and take a break. I'm sure that if you're used to working in an office, you're used to having coworkers to chat with. You know, you're walking to go get a cup of coffee, and then you stop and talk to your coworker for a few minutes, and then you go to the bathroom and you talk to somebody else, and I don't know, do those things that coworkers do. Maybe you eat lunch with certain people, or you go to lunch, or whatever. Either way, your time gets broken up much more, or even if you just have meetings and stuff, your day and your time gets broken up much more than it does if you work from home. So I highly suggest taking a lot of breaks. What I like to do is focus on one task. So what I'll do is, if I'm editing a video, for instance, I'll go through and do all of my rough edits. And then as soon as that task is over, I can do, you know, a load of laundry, get up and do something, respond to texts from friends, or reach out to friends, or whatever that is. And then, you know, after that 5-minute break, I go back and I do my next little segment of concentrated work. You definitely want to have bursts of really concentrated work where you're just getting things done, and then you can take breaks to still feel rejuvenated. Number 5 is to write down your distractions. One of the most common things I hear from people who work in an office say that if they're at home, they feel distracted by the dishes, the laundry, just the chores, yard work, whatever that is, or even just like your TV. You're looking at it feeling like, ooh, I want to watch my show. And it's really hard to get the distractions out of your head to focus on work. So what I like to do is I write everything down. If I think, oh my gosh, I need to change the sheets today, and then all of a sudden, all I'm thinking about is how I need to go upstairs, strip the bed so that I can put the sheets in the laundry so that they're done before we go to bed tonight and I can put them back on the bed. Just an example. Instead of letting it consume my mind right now, I'll just write it down, and then it's out of my mind. I can get back to work and focus on what matters, and I will get to the sheets because it's already written down on my list, so I know I'm not gonna forget it again. Number 6, kind of going along with that, even though I'm not sure if that would be considered a reward, is to reward yourself. So do your, if I do this, then I get that. So if I respond to these 20 emails, then I can go throw a load of laundry in. Again, not sure that laundry is a reward, but you get the idea. If I finish all of my tasks, then I can stop an hour early and go for a walk outside. Whatever that looks like for you, just definitely reward yourself for getting the tasks done, because that makes you want to get them done. If you reward yourself without getting them done, it will create really, really bad work habits. But if you want something, if you want to be productive, if you want to do the chores around your house, if you want to, you know, go for a walk, if you want to work out, if you want to watch your shows that you missed last night, any of those things, if you do this, then you get to do that. Number 7 is change out of your pajamas. It is so tempting to just get up and just work in your pajamas. And I'm not saying that you can't work in loungewear. I'm wearing a sweatshirt and leggings. That's okay. I'm not wearing the clothes that I slept in. I think that the act of physically changing out of the clothes that you slept in somehow changes your mentality. Like, you have gotten dressed, even if it's still in comfortable clothes. I always work in comfortable clothes. I'm not gonna sit on my couch in jeans and work, or sit in my office in jeans and work if I don't have to. So I'm almost always in comfortable loungewear if I'm working from home, but I always change out of my pajamas when I get up so that I don't know, it just helps my mental clarity. Number 8 is, this is going to depend on your job and how you are as a person, but I cannot recommend this phone stand enough. I got it off of Amazon. I will link it down below, but I have this sitting next to my laptop on my desk, and it holds my phone. It can sit this way or it can sit this way, and I will watch videos on here, listen to podcasts. The phone is then elevated off of my desk. I always know where it is. I can see it if somebody calls me, and that's all good. It would also be great if you do a lot of conference calls or anything like that, just so that you kind of have it in its place. It has a home, you can have it plugged in while it's sitting there. But on the other side is, I also highly recommend, if you're distracted really easily, to either use do not disturb mode and only have like your boss or your immediate family or whoever on the list of people who can contact you, or turning your phone on airplane mode so that you can get things done without messages popping up. Sometimes on my computer I'll turn iMessages off so that I'm not getting them on my computer while I'm trying to concentrate on something, just because that's not going to help my concentration. I think we're so plugged in all the time, and most of the time it won't bother me, but I know if I'm having a day that I'm already distracted and I need to get certain things done, I will just turn messages off on my computer so that I don't have to worry about it. Number 9 is to drink a lot of water. Again, I'm mentioning 75 hard because right now I'm doing the challenge that I have to drink a gallon of water every single day. So I'm obviously drinking a lot of water, but it is just so good for clarity in your brain. It has so many health functions. It will also make you pee a million times a day, which is just good to like get up and get moving. One thing that I always like to do is like stand up. I have an Apple Watch, and so once every hour it will vibrate if I haven't stood up for the entire hour. So just getting up and moving, and I think drinking water has so many benefits, but beyond that, it will kind of force you to get up, walk around, stretch your legs, all of that. And then my last tip is to find your ideal background noise. So if you're used to working in an office, you don't work in silence. I am almost positive of that. Either there's background music playing, there's coworkers talking, there's a TV on in the waiting room, there's machinery, there's some kind of noise that is working in the background, and you are probably used to that. What I personally do is, depending on what task I'm working on, dictates what I'm listening to. So sometimes I'll listen to podcasts, but if it's a podcast I have to pay attention to, then I'll only do it when I'm doing mindless work, like creating a thumbnail or something that I don't have to think about, I'm just kind of doing. Or if I'm making jewelry or something like that. Sometimes I'll have TV on in the background while I'm making jewelry, or I'll have music on if I'm doing something that I need to be concentrating on. I'll have music on in the background, just so that your environment is still lively and has sound. A lot of times if it's just complete silence and all you can hear is like the clock ticking, it will just make your brain not be able to concentrate, and it almost makes you feel like you have more pressure to concentrate, which then makes it even harder to concentrate. So depending on what your job is, find your ideal background noise and go with that. Alrighty guys, I hope that these tips were helpful for you. Let me know down below your best work from home tips, and I wish you guys the best of luck working from home. It's really rewarding when you get a ton of stuff done, but I'm sure a lot of you are like in full panic mode trying to figure out how to be productive. So I really hope that this was helpful for you. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Let me know if there's any content that I can help you with. I would be more than happy to create more content similar to this if there's something out there that you guys want. So leave your requests down below. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.